Towards the end of the vice presidential debate Tuesday night, Governor Walz had his strongest moment and J.D. Vance his most revealing. When directly challenged by the Minnesota governor if Vance would acknowledge that the 2020 election was not stolen and in fact that Trump had lost, the Ohio senator couldn't bring himself to admit what every subsequent court confirmed again and again.
It's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
I don't care where you are on policy. And yes, it's important. We know, oh my God, it's so important. There's so much stuff to get into, from abortion to the economy to what's happening right now in Israel.
And so much stuff they weren't able to get into,
and so
like
much stuff they weren't to get into. But folks, you have to fundamentally understand the truth. If you cannot, in 2024, answer that question, you are unfit for office. It doesn't matter what else you did for 90 or 89 minutes. That last minute, you cannot answer that question because the guy who's watching that you're performing for will kick your behind when you get off that stage, tells me and should tell the country you are unfit for office.
No, we were just saying, I get it, the Democratic base was like, oh, we want more knockout, but that's not who he is. He literally is the definition of Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
And he made all the great points, and I think absolutely did. The knockout punch was on him Vance not being able to admit Trump lost in 2020.
But
yeah, go ahead.
telling, yeah. As I tweeted on Substance, I thought Walz won. Vance comported himself really well. As I said, in a Ted Bundy kind of getting the VW bug kind of way. And it's interesting, right? The flip, and I just tweeted this about 2 minutes ago, that it used to be that, the Democrats are the elites in the tan suits from Harvards that are out of touch. And George Bush is the kind of guy you want to have a beer with. And
Thank you.
It was just the opposite last night.
Thank you.
Walz is that guy. Kind of looked like a substitute teacher with his little pen, with not really quite knowing the curriculum and the lesson plan, but it's like he makes sense. He's not smooth. He made a couple of gaffes, but I like him. I want to hang out with him. I want to order donuts with him and have it not be awkward.
I think Charlie Pierce said it best here. He's like Satan is debating Santa. I mean,
yeah,
and you're absolutely right. He is. J.D. Vance is. You're right. That smooth Ivy League, polished debater. What do you call it? What does he do? Hedge fund douchebag.
Yeah.
Got bought his Senate seat bought by a billionaire. Like how is he any man of the people? Tim Walz is like everybody we know, right? He's a regular guy.
Yeah, Schultz is kind of like that honest salesman on a car parking lot that wants to sell you the car at a fair price, and JD's the last financing guy that you have to go through.
Yeah.
I know what he said, but here's the real deal.
By the way, speaking of man of the people, give me 12. This is because you tweeted something about taxes.
How is it fair that you're paying your taxes every year and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years? Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. When Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage.
Thank you.
What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump?
Yeah. Because you retweeted, in 2016, Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes. In 2017, he paid $750 in taxes. In 2024, Mark Cuban paid $288. I can't even read all those zeros. $1 million in taxes. Right. Mark Cuban said, I pay what I owe. Tomorrow I will wire transfer to the IRS $288 million.
Million.
This country has done so much for me. I'm proud to pay my taxes every single year. Tag a former president who doesn't. Exactly. I mean, how many different ways, Carlos, can you say he's not for you? He's for his rich buddies. And how does that
right
feel?
On the giant airliner that has his own name on it. It doesn't say for the people's airline. It says me.
And what does Kamala Harris? What does Kamala Harris say? For the people, right? I mean,
yeah.
And none of us like paying taxes, but it's like we were saying. Can you imagine? And and we might have a fair point if we all went. You know what? We didn't have kids. We're not paying local taxes to send your kids to school.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how the right wing would react?
We're paying,
but nobody on our side says that.
Yeah, we're paying to send Carlos's germ wagons to school.
Yeah, your little
That's
ankle
right.
biters. Your little.
My kids.
But I mean,
Yeah, but
they have no sense of a society that we all live in a
should
society.
pay taxes. Any church, mosque, temple, all those people should pay taxes.
Absolutely.
Anybody that has political influence in the election, and that is mosques and temples and churches, they all have influence on elections.
Right.
They all contribute to politicians.
Right.
They should pay taxes.
And it's not like they don't use city infrastructure. They should absolutely pay taxes to pay for city infrastructure.
Here's, I think, the point, because we were just saying, like, yeah, pundits and all those people can go like, oh, yeah, J.D. Vance is, I mean, yeah, he's a slicker, more polished liar, if that's what you want. But I am confident that, they were saying the CNN flash poll, that Tim Walz's likability went through the roof. Like, that's what we're saying, is that we're the base. Like, we wanted slash and burn and get him, finish him, But people like Minnesota nice. This is one. This is Ryan, right? Is this the diner voter?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, who are you going to vote for, and what kind of solidified that opinion?
Well, I'm going to be voting for Kamala Harris. One of the stark sort of aspects of that debate that really stuck with me was when they were talking about January 6th and how Mike Pence certified the election, and they were wondering if J.D. Vance would certify the election should Trump lose. And, J.D. Vance didn't really give us a definitive answer, and I'm disappointed in that fact. And I don't think that I can trust someone, with my vote if they're not going to respect it.
So, I mean, that's what you have to hope, is that there is some percent, because that's who we're trying to get. Are those people are still whatever, right in the middle, undecided, something, and I think that a bunch of people got that he's a slick liar, J.D. Vance. I mean, Joy Reid with some more on the he's trying to say he didn't sign or he's not for a total abortion ban. He's on tape.
It's on his website.
Thank you.
J.D. Vance, when he ran for the United States Senate, it is headlined, "End Abortion." He says he's 100% pro-life, believes abortion has turned our society into a place where we see children as an inconvenience, on and on and on. You also gave one of the quotes, "I would certainly like to see abortion illegal nationally." He also said he was sympathetic to the view that a national ban would be necessary to stop women from traveling across states to obtain an abortion. So he's in favor of a sort of fugitive slave act to stop abortion.
Yeah, this was all this was John Irving's Cider House Rules. I thought we had this discussion 15 years ago at the Oscars when he won for writing that script. And there's a great book, by the way. But yeah, even a state-to-state basis of one state allowing abortion, it's like a smoking section on a plane. It doesn't work. Women, and that's what Walz addressed that. Just because they're geographically in one area, they're disadvantaged because they can't make a choice in this state, but you're allowed to. They're being punished for being geographically in the wrong area.
Right, exactly.
It's the same party that is against federal registration for firearms, which would make it a lot safer, but they want they want a federal mandate for making you have an abortion. It's just,
I love your analogies. We didn't know there was such a thing as secondhand smoke, and this is like you can't get a secondhand abortion. It's just you're abortion adjacent, even though you can't get one safely.